Welcome back to Making Money. Oil prices sharply higher this week, and jet fuel is getting squeezed. It's one of the important byproducts that relies on the Strait of Hormuz. With a look at the airline industry and what travelers and investors need to be thinking about, we're joined by Savanthi Syth, Raymond James Managing Director for Global Airline. Savi, good to see you. Can we start with an overview, if you will, how you characterize the health of the airline sector right now, particularly right here in the U.S.?
Yeah, the good news, Lauren, is yes, fuel is up quite a bit, but demand is really strong. The consumer is healthy, and that is enabling airlines to kind of pass through a lot of the costs. It is not a very comfortable position for airlines to be where fuel is today, but the strong consumer, both leisure and corporate, is a kind of a good sign and helping support cash flows and earnings to some extent.
Is corporate faring better?
It is really strong. I think last year you saw a lot of kind of uncertainty build up in the corporate sector. So I think there's some level of maybe pent up demand that's occurring this year. We were wondering if that was maybe a little bit more front end loaded, but as far as we can tell, it's continuing well into, through the summer, and we'll see, that important kind of post Labor Day, how that will trend. But so far it is doing really well. But corporate and leisure both are quite strong. Corporate tends to be a little less price sensitive.
Savi, do you remember a few months ago at the start of the conflict in Iran, everybody was worried, the airlines themselves, that they would have to cancel flights, and some of them did, in addition to raising prices. But now, 6 months in, it doesn't seem that bad. Am I missing something?
I think there were two things to worry about. One, in terms of canceling flights, is just high fuel and if the fares don't keep up. And what we've seen is, mid-teens type unit revenue increases at airlines in the U.S. That's considerable. Nobody had anticipated a consumer that was kind of willing to absorb that level of fare increase. And so I think the amount of capacity cuts have been somewhat lower than anticipated. That said, through the summer, we're still, flat capacity year over year. That's quite a constrained environment in this kind of strong GDP background. But you're right, there's been a lot less capacity cuts. I think there was also early on some concern in other areas of the world, Europe, Asia, that they were worrying that there might be supply issues that cause flight cancellations. But so far, fuel prices have gone up and supply side economics is working, and you're seeing a response to that with the suppliers increasing their yields.
Yeah. You have an outperform rating, Savi, on Delta. Why do you like Delta so much?
Lauren, they're really well positioned heading into this. They do own a refiner, which helps them offset some of the refining margin increases that we've seen. But really how Delta had been positioned heading into this is they have really strong margins. They have very good balance sheet. They have a very balanced capital deployment strategy over the long term. They have exposure to more premium and less price sensitive travelers, both on the corporate and leisure side. All of that comes together to make Delta a kind of a much stronger airline to withstand this kind of shocks, such as a kind of a fuel price spike.
Yeah, having your own refinery certainly helps. Then there's American. Those shares have been slumping this year, down about 10%. United's trading sideways. What are your thoughts on American and United, Delta's biggest competitors here in the U.S.?
Yeah, with American, what I would say is they're coming into this with a much weaker balance sheet and a much weaker margin position. Now, they do have exposure to premium passengers, to kind of less price sensitive passengers. So they're in a strong boat from that perspective, and they are doing things, but they headed into this kind of crisis with a much weaker position and are having a hard time kind of closing that margin gap with Delta. United, on the other hand, since at least kind of the pre-pandemic setup, they have started to kind of close the gap somewhat with Delta. Some of that is, timing costs and things like that, but they came in to this somewhat stronger position. They have a decent balance sheet, still very highly levered. They have a very aggressive CapEx plan and a somewhat aggressive capacity growth plan. For them, from that perspective, we think That's why we like Delta more. It's a lot more kind of risk averse in this kind of a climate. Now, if things kind of turn around tomorrow and everything's kind of blue skies, then I think there's a lot more earnings leverage in United. But we like the risk reward at Delta better.
Can I ask you a personal question? Knowing what you know about the airlines, how does that make your personal flying experience different? Do you look for certain things that I wouldn't even think of?
There are, when I book a flight, I make sure I have enough connection times. The morning flights tend to have better operations than the afternoon, evening flights. There are things like that you would do, but generally, just it's very similar to every other passenger's experience or what we look for.
And let's go overseas for the next 30 seconds. That's all I have. Sorry to squeeze you. You do like a couple of foreign airlines, Copa and Ryanair. If you could tell us why.
Yeah, both Copa and Ryanair have strong balance sheets, very well managed companies, and really strong margins. So if you think about similar to Delta, very high quality airlines, Copa has the added benefit that their point of sale strength is in Latin America, which is a commodity based economy. So in an environment like this, Copa also has a demand strength component to it. And Ryanair, just long standing, well managed company, great cost structure and balance sheet, and they're going to be well positioned as others struggle to kind of take advantage of things.
You nailed the timing. Savanthi Syth, thank you very much for the time. Have a great weekend.
Thanks. You too, Lauren.